I need us to ask some questions before we flip to the next characteristics. Let's have the microphone. So the difference between a module and the course. Last time we said you decide a course name, right? Like, what course name do you have in mind?
Seventh Heaven Marriages.
What? Seventh? Heaven?
Wow.
Okay, now, let's start right there. The name must be totally understandable by a P7 dropout. A P7 dropout is our benchmark. English that can be understood by a P7. I know that we have the feel-good names that we alone know, and our close circles, they will know. But remember, you're not serving the close circle and you're not serving you. You are serving the people. So whether you're aiming at how would you rephrase the seventh heaven marriage, because even saying it, we are going to bite our tongues. How would you rephrase it in a way if you're talking to a P7 dropout?
Thriving marriages.
Thriving marriages. Thriving marriages, there are people who are going to miss the word thriving. Happy marriages. Happy marriages sounds good. Everyone wants to be married. To be in a happy marriage. Okay, so now I'm just taking over and saying we have happy marriages. Okay. Now, happy marriages is too big a course name. All right? Because if you're dealing with marriage, you do not want to exhaust all your information on happy marriages, because happy marriages, that means this is the temptation you're getting into. That you're going to say, this is sex and intimacy, right? Anything else?
Children.
Money, finances.
Work-life balance.
Work-life. Parenting. In-laws. Conflict resolution. Yeah. So now, do you see all these are too many? Because under communication, you're not just going to say, guys, make sure that you have a good communication. All right? So do you see that communication, this is your mission and your vision to create happy marriages. But your course can come under just communication and say, you know what? How to communicate well in marriage. That can be a course. All right? And then in communication, you can talk about verbal communication, yes. Non-verbal communication, yes. Those are modules. Love languages.
7 effective ways to communicate in marriage.
People love numbers. The moment you give them 7 effective ways to communicate in marriage, everyone will be like, I was looking for that. Now you have 7 modules. Now you have the love languages. You have the non-verbal. You have the verbal. You have what?
Cues.
The non-verbal and the communication cues.
You have the love language.
Yes, those are the love languages. Yes.
How to understand a woman's communication.
Yes, and the men's communication. Yes, his communication and So you see that you have 7 modules under effective ways of communicating to create a happy marriage. So whether you say 6 or 7, you decide, or 3 or 4, you decide. But you see how you break it down and say, okay, so the next time I will create something around intimacy.
Yes.
All right? How to be kinky. Sorry? Different styles. You bring in the styles. And then you bring in hygiene. Yeah, under sex. Hygiene goes with the foods to eat and all that. Yeah? What else? Ambience. Yes. Dealing with children. When you want to be intimate. Getaways. Dress code, guys. Yes, some men dress like witch doctors when they are coming to bed. They come with a torn underwear. They have not brushed. They don't have any deodorant. And they show up like the macho men they are to conquer the world. And then what? People are starting World War III here. And then how do women show up? Eh? Coach Tycoon, how do women show up? Habaya. So do you see how many things are there? Do you see how many there? So those are all modules, but you have tackled one thing and someone has come for that, and then after that they will ask you, do you have one for parenting? Do you see how people keep coming for more if you deliver well in one? Now just imagine what we've been talking about. Some of you have the tendency of creating things and you're too serious. Now you must communicate like this, and then you must communicate like this. If you're putting on, you put on like this, like clearly you don't have any sense of humor. It's like you don't have any experience. Talk about when you put on something and it turned someone off, or you put on something and it turned them on, as in give the humor. Yeah. Let people laugh while they are watching, and then don't give them too much information. Make it 10 minutes, make it 15 minutes maximum. But let someone get a well-balanced, packed module, and they're like, you know what, this is something I would want to go and try. Give them even, give them homework in your assignments. Tell them that, you know what, I want to finish every module with something that they must do, an action point. Yeah? We missed out on styles. Did we talk about styles?
Yeah, we did.
Because some people give a single style, you know? You're giving excuses upon excuses. Hey. So now you must also, some of you are too timid. You see, coach so and so. You don't know the styles. The singles in this place know more styles than the married in this place. The singles. Nearly. They are here saying Simanyi cat style, Simanyi donkey style. You see that on the chandelier you can hold the chandelier, that you can climb the windows. All of that is here. There is marriage so much. That you put on a Spider-Man's costume, all coming from here. Nance uniform. You come with what do they? What are they called? What are they called? I have failed to pronounce, but that one. But you see how all those, and then some of you are too timid that you cannot even mention these styles. Can you mention the too spiritual? No, if you're not if you're too spiritual, God would have said don't marry. Tell them the styles and explain the styles and the benefits of the styles. Yes, you can demonstrate. Why not? People have gone ahead to demonstrate. Let me tell you, there are sex coaches. Yes. Serious sex coaches. Why do you live for that? Why are you going into a marriage arena where you cannot give us everything? People don't want to say what they are doing. Can we bring the microphone? Mm-hmm.
So we had one of our guest speakers as Sharifa, the one who goes by Let's Fix It Counseling.
Yes.
So she's a sex therapist. So she comes with this very big bag, you know, like a tote bag. Mm-hmm. No, we're like, oh, maybe it's her bag. Since she's Muslim, maybe moving into yeah. She came with every tool, like the demonstration was shown. you know how like things that even people look and be like, has it? But people left. They had literally opened up their minds. Because she mentioned some things, for instance, when she talked about sex, she mentioned something that a lot of people, when she asked, for an opinion poll, a lot of people weren't doing. She said, do you people wash inside your anus? Do they? Mm-hmm. People are like, So those are some of the things that people never want to mention because they think,
They're off.
but that's a pivotal point that can actually change someone's marriage.
Have we had? How many are marriage coaches here? Again. By show of hands. Wait, you have changed your minds that quickly? By show of hands, how many are marriage coaches? 2%. You know, it's that 2%. You must be all in. Huh? You must be totally committed to the cause. And you're like, nothing. If I don't know it, no. If you don't know it, you research and practice. What? Then why are you being a marriage coach? What if you're single? Then don't be a marriage coach. You're going to give us half things. Or you deliver half things and then after you get married, you deliver full. Yes, my dear.
Can you become a marriage coach when you're not actually married? But you know a lot of things. You've learned from a lot of experiences.
Yes, you can. I am not the kind of person who believes that people cannot be marriage coaches. But one thing I believe is when you are married, the experience is different. And let me tell you, if you're cohabiting and you are a marriage coach, your delivery is different from a person who is committed in marriage. Yes, you can. No, you can talk about marriage, you can talk about the styles, you can talk about, because these things you are doing. But you're not doing them in a relationship, doing them in cohabiting and doing them in marriage. They have totally different alignment. And the feelings are totally different. But there is no way that shouldn't fail you. The only thing is people will keep asking. That is why you see many people who are single and they are marriage coaches, they tend to put on rings, babuze. Yes. So that people don't ask. Because when they don't see a ring, they'll be like, but for you, you're not married, but you're talking about marriage. Because people are concerned. And these days, people can ask anything. People are going to listen and they are going to follow. But it doesn't mean that some of them are not going to ask themselves. Because even for those that are married, I've seen so many marriage coaches that are married but not bringing their marriages into the limelight. Still people keep asking, but oualua. You get it? So it's until some of them see and they're like, hey, okay, all along, yes. But when they don't see nothing for quite a long time, they're like, but we even don't know whether you're married. So we don't know whether you speak out of, experience or you're just saying. Let me tell you, when you talk about parenting and you don't have children, it's a different ball game. Totally different ball game. You talk about sex when you're only having sex once a month with a kukukuta boyfriend versus a woman who is married having sex every day. You're going to talk about sex differently. Sorry? Yeah, it's like money coaches without money. Or business coaches without businesses. Yeah, there are certain business coaches without. I think you've seen them. But they will talk about the theory part of it and they will be very vicious about it. But let me tell you still, you will smell them. You will know them. Because then they have nothing to refer to. It's like leadership. Talking about leadership minus you ever holding a leadership position is also something that is totally misleading. Because leaders, you will have scars of betrayal. You will hold people's hands and they will come against you. You will have, so whenever you're speaking about leadership, it will come from your heart. You will give examples that are very, very crucial and central to what is happening. Mm-hmm.
Last time when we were studying, you told us about the different types of coaches and talked about the adventurous type, where you share your journey. Yes, you may not be there, but you are sharing your journey.
Yes.
For example, I may be like a marriage coach, but I'm not yet married, which means I am giving people my journey, even if I'm not yet there.
That means you are a relationship coach.
So you term it as a relationship.
Yes, that means you are a relationship coach that can turn into a marriage coach. But right now you are sharing your current journey, because adventurous, you must share your current journey. That this is what we were talking about. I was reading this book and it spoke to where I am. I was doing this. And even if you become the reporter, the one that is interviewing other people, you're still interviewing other. Now you can interview, the reporter can interview people that are skilled in that field. You get it? So now, for you to be known, by the way, that you even help the married people, you can host people that talk about marriages. So now they become your shield, because they are giving this. For example, Farida used to host doctors all the time, but she was not a doctor. But most people would enjoy the kind of content. She was not a marriage coach, but she was hosting people that are doing marriage. And people found it like that was an information-loaded show, and so most of them would actually watch. So people can trust you because of the people that you're hosting. And even when from time to time you chip in when you've hosted someone, you realize it doesn't seem like you're alone at it. Because you have crucial information that you think would work. But when you chip in and you're hosting someone that is in that arena, it covers you, it gives you a bit of grace than when you are alone. And I will tell you this generation is different from my generation. When I started 20 years ago, I will tell you, we did not have to embody the message. We had to speak the message for people to believe. You get it? Because number one, the coaches were few. The counselors were few. Even those that were there, they didn't know anything to do with social media. So actually, my generation was the first on social media to talk about marriage, to talk about all those things. Now, people accepted me because they were going through problems and they didn't know who to go to. Do we understand? Now, 10 years later, the internet became saturated that people started trusting only people that would embody the message. If I see you with a husband and you're thriving, I want to listen from you, because then I know you're going to give me what you have. Changed from just speaking to embodiment. So right now it's fully embodiment. Yes, you have to have experienced it. So most people right now are that is why, back then, Sengas used to speak to girls. And people had not opened their eyes to say that these singers are failures and they're the ones speaking to girls. But your father would send you to your auntie, go to your auntie, so that, because it was cultural. But right now, most fathers are like, I know my sister, do not dare go to her, I will get you a person to talk to. Why? Right now, it's more embodiment. It's not about who can speak louder. You understand the difference? Yeah. So now we must have that in mind as we, have you understood that? Yes, yes, please. Okay, so let's go through her question, okay? For everyone, it's quite different. But again, at least you will be able to get, to get what I mean when I say this. Number one, I gave myself a way, or I created demand for myself. When I say I created demand for myself, I created communities, and then I committed to certain things. For example, when I committed myself to say, I am going to show up on radio. So you realize now I don't have any option. Yeah. If I'm going to be on radio, I must have content. That means I must come prepared. So now I have placed a demand on myself. So now I have to show up. If I said I am going to post a YouTube video, let me say twice a week or thrice a week. That is Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I'm going to say it's going to be these minutes, maybe 30 minutes. So now I have committed, because remember I said that self-love is about keeping your own promises. Now, even if no one was telling me and pushing me to do that, I was like, you know what, I committed myself to actually do this. Like people who do challenges. They're like, I am going to post every single day for the next 90 days. You realize when you put it, now you don't become the 98 and decide to back off at day 4 and say, you know what, this thing, it is becoming so demanding. You're like, you know what, whether I put a half a post or a quarter a post, I must post every day for the next 90 days. Okay, so I placed demand on myself. I didn't wait for anyone to place demand on me. So that is why I would take on weird things. For example, Aban would call me at 6 a.m. and at 6 a.m. I'm present. Like where I'm supposed to sleep, where I'm supposed to sleep a little more, but at 6 a.m. I am here. Another, maybe NBS, they're like, you know what, we have 11 p.m. And I'm like, 11 p.m., I'm going to be around. Now, definitely that comes from an angle that my partner was very, very understanding. So I did that before I actually got into marriage and even after I got into marriage. So most of the times we would drive together. I would tell him, you know what, I have this at 6 a.m. I have that at this time. So I would show up because I knew I was in the building season and I needed to build as much as I could so that I can get to a season that was a bit laid down, that did not need too much. You get it? So I placed too much demand on myself. When I said, you know what, I'm going to write a book, no one pushed me to write a book. But I would get time in between my duties. In between, I used, the computer the laptop that I had at work, and I would be typing. So I sneak in time. Lunchtime, yesterday actually, we were driving. It's today morning when we were going for breakfast. And my husband looked at an Alex that was in front. I was like, remember the Alex you used to drive? And I was like, yeah, I mean, those were also days. And I was like, but you used to leave office at, even when I was single, I was like, you used to leave office at around 9 p.m. I was like, yeah, because I was waiting for traffic to get to go down. But number two, I knew that I needed to work a lot harder, like read a lot more. That when I appeared on TV, when I appeared, like I would have this backup of knowledge, the well of knowledge and wisdom that I needed. So while everyone was signing out of office at around 5, for me, I had more 4 hours. Definitely that you can't do when you are married and you have to be able to agree with someone. But I started it then, and now, until now, I still have those time outs. For example, on Tuesday when we have the call, my whole family knows that on Tuesday I have a call in the evening. So when I get home at around at around 7, I am freshening up, I'm preparing myself, I'm on call until 9, and they know that some of the times they will wait for me to say good night or go tuck them to bed, but they know I will have that hour without any. So I just place demand on myself. The community where you have to show up every day. For example, if you created a community of women that are starting up in marriage and you're their leader and you have to show up, you realize that in between cooking, you will be reading something, you will be preparing something. Why? Because there is a demand. The moment there is no demand, you are too spaced out and there is nothing to bother you. And so you have to wait until there is an event someday, you know? So now there is a lot of space of knowledge. Place demand on yourself. That helped me a lot. Yes, please.
One thing that I know that I have mastered is social media. And actually, I can offer to be like an accountability partner or accountability group.
Who needs?
For anybody that wants to grow on social media.
Who needs?
Yes. When I was starting out social media, Instagram in particular, because I was already on YouTube. But I had a baby, a toddler who was about 2 years and like 2 months, and then a small baby who was about 3, 4, 5 months. Now, I was a full-time stay-at-home mom with no house help. That's how I've lived my whole life, no house helps. So I had to create routines that work. If I say that I'm going to wake up at 3 a.m. to pray, because in the middle of the day, I will not find time to pray. Children will be shouting. So I will wake up at 3 to pray. Then I know that maybe between 4 to 5, I am scripting my content for that day. What do I want? Because also, if now we are doing coaching, it means that we have pillars.
Yes.
We know that if I'm doing marriage, I can't solve everybody's marriage problems. If I decide to focus on communication, that is the only pillar I'm focusing on, marriage and communication in it. If anybody else comes with other issues, I can help, but to avoid overwhelm, you can't do everything with marriage. You can't do it. You pick one thing that you're good at. So that is the time you use to script your content. You know that today I'm going to talk about maybe 1 to 3 things. Then you decide which style is great for you. Some people are great talkers, so you'll find that their content is a lot about talking, and so it's easy. Now that one, even if you're driving to work, in jam, your phone is there to stand. Just tap and talk. Do that 1 minute. If your content is about maybe showing your day, just take small videos of 1-second clip of your day, your tea, how you walked into the office, how. Now that video, which might be like 30 seconds, you write words on it. Today, my biggest lesson about communication is that, You get, so you've done it on the go. You're not
see
putting
how it's
yourself on
simple?
pressure. Then you might find that maybe for you, you're a picture person. Take your pictures and write your captions. So find what content works for you, or you can mix and match as the season demands. Then set routines that work. For me, my children, whether they are in holidays or they are in, because now they're all school going, 7 p.m. is bedtime. The entire family knows 7 p.m. children are in bed. Because if they don't get that routine in their heads, if they don't know that at 7 they have to sleep, it means it disorganizes my schedule of waking up at 3. It means that if they sleep at 7, it means I have quality time with my husband until 10 p.m. Then I sleep at 10 and be able to wake up at 3. Anybody who disorganizes the schedule in between breaks the pattern.
Yeah.
And then you learn to batch your, like to do time blocks. You say, for instance, if I say I'm going to wash dishes, I'm going to wash dishes for 30 minutes. I put a timer. If 30 minutes elapse, whichever saucepan hasn't been washed will be for the next washing. Otherwise, you wash saucepans for 2 hours. Because you'll be there as you're washing, you get a phone call.
I
First
know.
wipe your hands.
You
say,
move around.
If you're going to do children's homework takes 30 minutes. Once we are done with that, then we read the Bible, then we pray, then we sleep. Set timers of like 30 minutes. Yes. Otherwise,
Routine.
if one thing breaks in the routine, you can't do. And you know, I think about growing, especially on social media, is that people expect you to be present. Whether your children are sick, whether your wife annoyed you, whether your husband beat you, people expect you to show up so they can trust you. So if something is broken in the system, it's going to affect your mental health. You will be upset. You will not show up. If you don't show up for 2 days, they say, oh, you're totally serious. They move on to the next person who is moving.
They will even unfollow you.
So
Some people are very quick.
Yes. Whatever, you're not showing up for 3 days, they're like, oh no, they move on.
That's true.
So just create your content on the go. You'll be like, in the morning when I'm going to work, I do a talking video. During the day, I try to, even if you just walk around for 3 seconds, you can put words on that. Then you take a picture for that day. Like that. And then you'll have 3 pieces of content every day. Tell me if you post 3 times a day for 90 days, if you will not grow your following and the trust that people have in you.
That will be huge. But can we do, before we clap, can we do accountability partner? Now we have an accountability partner. Okay, someone has a microphone now.
Thank you very much. That was very great. Well, for me, I want to remind us that at the end of the day, you have to have the bigger goal, what you're aiming at. Because you can create the videos, but what is your bigger goal? Like, what do you want to become? What are you trying to put out there? What do you want to be known for? So, even before you go into the smaller, breakdowns and everything, you need to know what you're going for. And that's maybe to answer her question, like what was driving you? What was driving you is what you were chasing. Now, she should also find what she's chasing. What is working out for you is what now you're going for. Maybe monthly, maybe quarterly, whatever works for everyone. And then that will give you the motivation even to go out of your way to do a lot of things. And before you know it, you will be peaceful in your schedule, no matter how, exhausting it may look on the outside.
Have you seen the guy who eats spaghetti on TikTok with 2 fingers? The thing is, he will set his spaghetti there and say, I want that one, but he will be here with his feet dancing, and then the flood will come and take away the spaghetti. So let's not be like that guy. Yeah, when you set up your why, as in set up systems that can be able to support that why and be able to work towards it. That is why for some people, and this should not be done very early on in the practice, some people get to a place and say, you know what, I need to go at this full time. Okay, because then if I'm half in and half out, then I'm not giving it as much time. But if you do it when you are not ready, you will realize that, by the way, you are even wasting time even when you have nothing else to do. I don't know whether we have ever realized, you set time aside, you sign out of certain things, and then even the time that you wanted to offer that thing, you have not given to it. So you only transition when you are ready, but make sure that you are up to something. so that all the routines can be able to support that and say, I am going to build this and it's going to be as big as possible. It's going to help as many people as possible. Remember, we said that brand is about reach and reputation. So your reputation is how you show up, how you deliver on your promises, and the reach is how you grow and how you get more people to actually see what you're doing. Yes, please.
Thank you, Coach Hilda. I wanted to ask on the 98%. You said the market is saturated by the 98. Then the 2%, they don't scramble for...
the 2% dominate the
dominate,
98%, yes.
Okay, and then also you said...
The 98 scramble for the 2%.
Okay, yeah. And then the 2%, they don't... If they show up, but they don't make noise. So how do you deal with a situation where you're on Facebook or social media, you post, but nobody is liking your this, and you want to be in the 2%, and nobody's liking you. So, do you
Yeah, that's a very serious question. That's a very
does
critical
it not
one.
affect you mentally that you now come back? Because now you're saying the 98, there are so many, but now you want to feel among the 2%, but they are not liking your post, and you're seeing yourself, you're 2%, but nobody is liking. So what do you do?
Okay, let's talk about platforms. Let me tell you, some of us are old-fashioned. We started on different platforms, but Instagram can be a headache. Instagram can be what? A headache. Ask us who came later. Some of us, we started on the realm of Facebook, and Facebook was chap. That is before Uganda was locked out of the whole globe. But right now, it doesn't mean that Facebook is not working. Yes, it's working. You decide which platforms you really want to work with. But you realize that most of the people that are on Instagram, that is why you'll find so many people teaching how to grow on Instagram. Because it's tricky, because it takes hooks, because it takes, information, people who are on Instagram or people with kajanja. You know kajanja? You don't know kajanja? Wiseacres, too much English, too much went to which schools. Seriously. Now, it doesn't mean that you cannot thrive on Instagram, but that means you have to up your game. That means you must understand your content. That means you must understand the people that you are talking to and what works for them. And I will tell you, look for the top 3 people that are doing what you want to do. Look for their topmost trending reels or videos or posts. They are trending, they are most trending, they are most liked. Simple formula. Rephrase, paraphrase, redo, put your twist to it. I'm telling you, if you're just starting up, because if you've already been going, that means you at least know who you're talking to. You maybe have some following and people know you. But if you're just starting, it's very hard to just start in this era on Instagram, but it's not that, it's impossible. It's very possible. But when you look out the people, at least the people that have gone before you, they are doing marriage, they are doing public speaking, and they have things that have worked out for them. Can you be able to look out and say, okay, what has worked out for them? Can I be able to do that with my own content and then be consistent? Because even when you do, by the way, this is what happens. You can put your own twists to a content that has millions of likes and you'll still get 2 likes. It's very possible. But the more you are you are continuous and consistent, people tend to know that, okay, this is a serious person. So they tend to come back for more. And when they come, you can never know what hooks them, what they like. And so before you know it, more people are showing up. Like she said, if you posted 3 posts, that means you've taken time to batch your content. That means you've taken time to write down your hooks. You've taken time to know what you have to give to them, because that shows that, by the way, you are serious with what you're doing. If you're just informing, you get it. But if you have the journals, if you're inviting them to the events, people want progressive things. Like she's heading somewhere, we might as well jump onto the bandwagon. But if you're not headed somewhere, you're just telling them, in order to have a good relationship, do A, B, C, and D. in order to do this, do A, B, C, and D. Very few are going to come. Actually, you're going to get more beginners also like you, but you're not going to get people who are already established to come and like you. So that means you must be able to faith it before you make it. All right? Faith it before you make it, but consistency is very key. Let's get a where is our microphone?
YouTube is for teachability. If you're good at teaching, if you're good at giving value, 7 ways to have a happy marriage, how to study your Bible, how to be a public speaker, YouTube is for you. Even if you get over 100 views, they will grow because YouTube is forever. From the time we were born, Google has been there. So YouTube is forever, and people go to YouTube to learn. So long form of content teachability, YouTube is your platform. TikTok is for relatability. That is why when you can find someone with a very bad video, but because it is funny, it has 1 million views.
Yep.
People want to relate. People want to see, let's say, if you're teaching about, let's say, marriage, they want to see, let's say, a husband and wife who have come home, and maybe the husband didn't leave money at home. Then the wife opens, the husband serves food, the wife serves food, the husband opens the dish and there is no food. Then people will laugh. That is TikTok. They want to relate. They want to be able to say, this also happens in my home. Then they relate. That is TikTok. That's why the Gen Zs have saturated TikTok, because they know how to make something relatable.
They act it out.
Yes, so even if you're on all platforms, you have to find out which content goes to TikTok. Like, I can create content, but there's content that will never go on Instagram. It will be for TikTok. Because TikTok is for relatability. Instagram people will not understand it. They'll say, no, yeah, more lavichi.
I know.
Like, what
I
is
told
she
you.
doing? Then, you will go to Facebook. Facebook is for community. You want people who are going to be there, and you put up you create a group, you put up one post, 1 million people come.
I know.
Yes, Wama, you're right.
They come so quickly.
That is Facebook. Facebook is for community. If you want to build trust, that is why you see Coach Hilda's starting platform was Facebook. If you're going to build trust, build a Facebook community. People will easily come. Then you will find Instagram. Instagram is for popularity. Let me not lie to you.
Celebrity
Instagram
lifestyle.
is for popularity. On Instagram, you must package. If you see that there is an event somewhere that someone powerful is hosting, go and attend, take pictures with them, post them. Some people will be like, Bambi, she knows so and so.
That is our person. The difference.
It is for popularity. If you want to post Instagram, make sure when you go on a vacation with your wife, take all the posts you can take on the island. Those are the ones for Instagram. People want to see lifestyle. They want to see a cool person. So
Soft
that
life.
even if you post you're at the island, but then down here you write, marriage doesn't have to be difficult. You see,
they're like,
you speak
yes,
nicely to your husband,
you're right.
he can give you money for vacation.
You're right.
You're right. Because everything matches. It looks.
Systematic.
With Instagram, attend events, create your own events. And when you create those events, have some free tickets, like 10, where you invite celebrities, people who are people, so that people see them at your event and now they're able to trust you. Also, those people will post on their stories, I've been invited to this event,
collaborate
I'll
with
be
you.
there. Yes, or they collaborate with you. So that's how you go. Instagram is for popularity. Package.
Do your own picnics.
When you're going to put a post on Instagram, if you're going to do a video, first comb your hair, first do your makeup. Like for TikTok, you can show up even in your bonnet. Nobody will say anything. As long as what you're saying makes sense, they will go. Clean your camera, your back camera, clean it very well. On Instagram, people want crisp content. They don't want mania, the camera was blurry. They want cool people. So if you're going to brand yourself on Instagram, you're going to
cool.
package. You're going to be cool. You're going to make sure if you're appearing with your children, their hair is brushed. Don't bring your children, but their hair is disorganized.
Hey, seriously.
They will bash them.
Give them nice clothes.
And you will get mental what? That thing. Mental health. That's why people cover their children's faces. What? Because they've been bashed before. But that is Instagram. Then Threads serves the same purpose as X. It's for intellectual people. If you have a lot to say, but you know how to write it better, you'll thrive on Threads and and X. And then there is LinkedIn. If you're ever going to be a professional in this Kampala, join LinkedIn. Put there marriage coach, family practitioner, over what? Forge. Just look like you're sensible. Take nice headshots.
Write articles.
Write articles, post a picture, write blog posts and give links and whatnot. Because now LinkedIn is important. Because when you get to a point where people who are people want to call you somewhere, maybe to speak and they will check your LinkedIn profile. They might not check your Instagram because they'll be like, oh, that's just lifestyle content and whatnot. They will check your LinkedIn. So every platform is important, but not to get overwhelmed. Start with the ones that appeal to you first. Then as you get them, then you now start to diversify. You get to a point where you can repurpose. I can get a post from Instagram as long as I am wearing presentable clothes and put it on LinkedIn and write something completely different that appeals to the LinkedIn
That's
crowd.
professional.
Captions on Instagram says there's a Facebook. Facebook people have that thing of you can't be better than us. There is no way. So when you're putting photos on Facebook, they're not the same as the ones on Instagram. On Facebook, be called low. Like reduce, call yourself small. Don't be like the Instagram chick. Like that.
That's why when you put Instagram posts and they go to Facebook, they do better for Instagram, and Facebook people half the time they're like, hey, what is this? They will not like it, and yet when you put posts for Facebook as Facebook, they will actually tend to like it because you worked with that in mind. Yeah, you had their mind. So now you know the difference. Now you know the difference.
Snapchat now is for just slaying because it's
slaying and
hours.
Show off and what? And what? And the Telegram.
Also, people want to see your lifestyle.
And Telegram is for what?
People relate with real people, so they want to see a bit of your lifestyle.
I am asking. Telegram is for what? At first, it used to be for cheats, and then after that, it became for what? For scammers. Really? Scammers? I hear there are people who have groups on Telegram. And nice groups. But is it for Gen Zs? Is it for millennials or us, the old generation? Sorry? Gen Zs? Millennials? That one I failed. Yeah. Good thing old people like me are not on Telegram. Yeah? You saw me on Telegram. I am on Telegram, but shadow Telegram. Apparently, when they say open this, you open everything, and then you fail to be active on anything. Any other question? Any other question? Okay, let's take these two, and then we call it a night.
Coach? Mine, I think she'll be the right person to help me. It's
content.
Yes, content. Like since we
Very
started,
important.
I've been seeing, in the groups, saying post, we even shared the part you told us to share our social media platforms. I first tested as like
links.
now. Yeah.
Now you're like,
first of
links
all-
are what?
No, actually, I knew what they were, but then I was like, now the content which is on my Instagram. Of course, since I'm like, now what is on my Facebook? As for YouTube, I have nothing. As for X, I open, but I've never, tweeted. I'm like, now, what do I share? People like. So that aside, I was like, now they're telling us to post every day. Okay, I know what I want to post about, but how do I start? I see when I go on maybe Instagram or maybe Facebook, you see people are using either like some backgrounds, maybe they've used their photos. I'm like, no, me who hasn't even taken any professional photos. What am I going to use? Like, how do I start? For WhatsApp, it's easy to just go and write something on my status. But I'm like, now Facebook and Instagram. Because usually I always posted just my photos. You're here, I just take a photo and post. I'm like, now for content creating, what exactly? How do I start? Like, how do I start writing those words? And all the words are there, but then how do I start? And
Hey, the words are there, but how do I start? You people, please give her the microphone. How do we start?
Okay. Put yourself in the mind of the consumer going through the same problem. if for instance you're selling tomatoes, and when you go to the market to buy tomatoes, you realize that one, those people usually put rotten tomatoes at the bottom and then put the nice ones on top. Now you're thinking like the buyer. So what do you want to create content around? Confidence. So you can start with a relatability story. You can start with a post. Do you have one of your posts of high school? One of your pictures of high school? You take a picture now and a picture of high school, put them in a carousel. One picture behind another. You know a carousel on Instagram, where you select multiple. Oh, yes. So one picture will be behind another, yes. So you're like, guys, I want to tell you a story. In the caption, I want to tell you a story. When I was in high school, can you believe I was bullied for this and that and that? Then one time this teacher came and did this and that. Like, create a story in the caption that is humorous, okay? And then put it there. Now, you have all of us here. You just share your link in the group and say, guys, share for me on your stories. Because once we share, you get the visibility. So even people who didn't know you, whether the post reached them or didn't reach them, if they see it on my stories, they see it on her stories,
They're like, yeah,
they'll be tempted to, they'll be like, hey, let's check her post. They find your post and they find value. So they're excited. They're like, okay. They might not follow you immediately. Then you back it up with stories. You now go put your post on your stories and then put a question stick and say, guys, who has ever struggled with body confidence? Because confidence is in many ways, talking, in body, in what? Guys, who has ever struggled with body confidence? Let me make a confession. One of the things I used to do when I had my very few followers, about 300 is I created fake accounts and I used to answer myself when I put the question sticker. Because when people see answers, they're like, oh, people are actually answering this, babe.
Like, let's go follow.
So they will be also, convinced to answer. So you answer yourself in the questions, then you answer. After you put back like a question sticker, you answer. So you're creating even confidence on your page for the people who are coming. When they come to visit your page, they'll say, Bananga, people actually answer these chicks' questions. So they'll be intrigued. Then there you can say, guys, I have a free event. Okay, I want to tackle like high school kids, let's say 12 to like 16, or maybe not free, like say 10K. Look for a place where you don't have to pay a venue and whatnot. Tell parents, bring your kids 12 to 15. Get a photographer. 300 to 50K. Dress well, do makeup. Let the photographer take your pictures, the pictures of the children who have come, the event and everything. Get someone who will create for you reels as you're talking. You'll be able to cut small things. That is content for 6 months. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Then when people see pictures of children, they're like, hey, this chick
Let's take our children also.
Then the following holiday, you do another one. Before you know it, you have a whole thing where you even make kids pay 250K. And a parent will say, I will take my child to that camp.
Because they know they get value.
Because they know they got the value. Then you can even create for them like, let's say like maybe cards to take home. Like, I am confident, I am wise, I am what.
They go and show their parents.
As parents, Bambi, once we see anything with our children that looks like it's thriving. Tomorrow we shall give you all our money. So you position yourself like you have the right things to say, but you say them. You say them. Why are you hiding them? Say them.
Say it.
You don't want to take pictures. You have a tripod? Okay, buy a tripod. Download an application on that tripod called Lens Buddy. Lens Buddy, LENSBUDDY.
Right.
On the phone.
Write down. I was about to ask you. Next week, we have a full lecture on content creation. I want to see who does not execute. I want to see, because after that, you will die with your questions. You will be like, but I ask again. I want to see. Now accountability partners will get what to do.
She has gotten it. It's an app called Lens Buddy, LENS.
Have you written?
LENSBUDDY. It is like a black thing with like a camouflage circle. Now that app will enable you to take your own pictures. Once you put the phone in a tripod like this, you press capture.
You go and pose.
You go and pose. You don't need to say, my neighbor, come and take my pictures. No. And then don't be embarrassed. Me, my tripod is, I have a tripod for the car, tripod for office, tripod for home. My tripod is anywhere. We can be here in public. I'll put my tripod there and walk in front of it, walk behind it. Because at the end of the day, the content pays me. You people don't pay me. It is the content that pays me. So I will look crazy having my tripod there and it's recording me. But me, I know that when I put that content, you will like it. So carry your tripod everywhere. Take every moment of your content. You can even model and say, you people, I was not able to model like this because
I didn't have confidence.
Can you believe some boy one time told me, boy, I'm too fat? Then people are going to relate. Even us, we struggled, in high school with this and that. Yeah, so you have the content, put it out.
You see, you have. She has a question. She has a question. Lavender. We had another question.
Oh.
We had another hand up.
Okay.
Okay. No, go.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Pretty brainy wife. You talked about Instagram. And Instagram is for those people that have lifestyles.
Posers.
Now, if I can't afford to go to Miami, I can't afford to go to Thailand. Like that
You're in
content you talked
Kampala. We
about.
have all sorts of things here. Wama, ask your question.
Yes.
Ask your question.
If I can't afford like that kind of life, how should I make it more creative? Because yes, we have those things in Kampala, but I'm not going to go to Serena every day. I don't have money in my pocket to maybe take this meal to take nice pics. So how can I strategize to make my content for Instagram?
How many times have I called you?
And she's always at functions, this one.
Lavender, have you ever seen any post of mine at Serena? I want you to be very truthful and say, Joy, I've seen you. Have you ever seen any post of mine at Serena? I am always in my house. If I'm not in my house, I'm with my children at a play park. No. Romanticize every moment. All of us just even coming from downstairs, coming to class. Do you know that can be a full vlog? Come with me to class today. Then you take, a full shot of the building. Then you take maybe like a video of your finger pressing the elevator. Then you enter, you put your phone down on the elevator.
You get
captures
out.
Just your feet. Then you walk out. Don't forget your phone inside the elevator. And you forget that phone. Someone forgot their phone in the plane of the window plane after shutting. When they remembered, the plane has gone and the phone was inside. You reach class, you put your phone there, you come walking into class. You get capture different angles, of doing these things. And then your vlog will be called, Come With Me to Class. You have romanticized your life. You go home and you're going to make, their time, when was it? Over the weekend? I did a reel making posho beans and nakati. It is on 20K views. But why? Because I was just saying, you guys, I miss high school food. I made my posho, I made my beans, my kids came somewhere there. They helped me to make the lettuce and whatnot. And that was the real. Live your real, authentic life. Manange, don't run mad. Don't run mad. Dress up, do get ready with me. You do a get ready with me with a voiceover. So, Bambi, don't be in your nick and bray. You can be in a dress, then you're taking. Then as you're doing a get ready with me, tell a story. If you'd say your niche is, give me a random niche. A marriage in your more get up.
There's confidence, there's public speaking.
Emotional? Emotions and feelings. As you're putting on, you say, I like the color blue because the color blue evokes a certain kind of peace in me. I remember the times when I used to like the color red. It used to be my favorite color. Then this one time, this happened and this happened. Meanwhile, you're dressing up, but that's the voiceover. Okay? Then you ask, at the end of the voiceover, you're like, guys, let me know in the comments, which is your favorite color?
Do they know where to record voiceovers? Do they know where to record voiceovers? You don't. Next week. So next week we have a full package. A full package. But our full package is not coming free of charge. This is what it is coming with. You must be able to execute. Now, today you've been given some things. Joy is giving us assignment for 2 reels this week. Joy, set our assignments for this week. 2 reels. Yes. 2 reels, each one of us. Executing what we have, even the theme. She's going to give us the themes. Executing what we have, she has talked about today. Because content creation is an everyday thing. Yeah. Mindset is something that you build over time. Content creation is a now thing. So now, we want to see those that say, I don't know, you know, who procrastinate, I will do it tomorrow. And then I will do, and then do not dodge next week because you don't have the reels. Some of you will get to Friday and will be like, Mama, I didn't do the reels. They will say, no, come. Come and explain to us why you didn't do.
We don't have tripods.
You don't have tripods? Put it on something. Guys, there is no, you can't fail. You can't fail. And a tripod is, a tripod is how much? May I have one for 80,000? Yeah, there are those are small ones, 60. There are those for 60. Yes. So you, please. Eh?
Now we have homework.
So you can't say that we do not have. So next week, implementation, content creation. Come with your questions relating to your niche so that they can be broken down, right?